Have you ever wondered where my confidence and creativity really comes from? It's more than just a vibe, it's a whole journey. Let me take you back to how RuPaul and queer culture helped me find my power.
Category is Bring It to the Runway. What category are you walking in?
Femme Queen Realness.
Femme Queen Realness is in the house.
Ah, so I've snatched before.
And well, honey, you might have that one in the bag. Tens across the board. Hold that pose for me. DJ, start the music.
Welcome to Pageantry Redefined, the podcast where the crown ain't just cute, it's conscious. I'm your host, Deborah Mungai, Miss Africa Great Britain 2024 to 2025, and around here, we're not just strutting stages, we're shaking systems. Whether you're a future queen, a creative, or just trying to serve impact and face, this is your space. Let's talk pageantry, power, and purpose, and everything in between.
Bring it to the runway. Bring it to the runway. Bring it to the runway.
Period. I'm gonna let this intro be my... That is Sissy That Walk by RuPaul, actually. So very much on theme, very much on brand, and it's interesting because I literally, before I even started recording this episode, I was watching an episode on All Stars 10, episode 7. So they're doing a tournament for All Stars, which is so cool. It's interesting that I'm literally recording this one. I literally just watched it, so just very on brand. But anyways, a good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you are from. Thank you for tuning into Pageantry Redefined, and I hope that I either touch your soul, touch your heart, touch your inspiration, whatever is required for you to, whatever you're getting out of this episode, I hope you're getting it and you're getting it straight, okay? But yeah, so today I wanted to speak more about where my confidence really comes from. I actually did a post quite recently just introducing where, my creativity, because I've got a creative page, by the way. Go follow that at tia.deborah on Instagram, tia.deborah on TikTok as well. And those pages are kind of like my creative output for everything that I create. So yeah, so I was trying to introduce, I like to do this creative journal of the things that I do, and I was sharing that part, and someone actually wrote a comment and they were like, oh, I don't get it, I don't understand. So I was like, oh, this is great. So I need to continue to share more, as well as continue to kind of explain what RuPaul's about, because not many people know about it, and they don't know about it, and that's fine. So just reintroducing them, just introducing them into this world, right? So I think my first point today is just starting to talk about how I knew about RuPaul's Drag Race. I've been sat down today journaling, trying to pinpoint a part where I learned about RuPaul's, and I do not remember. But one thing of how I discover things, and with my curiosity, right, is I always see something and I'm like, whoa, what is that? And then I go through a loophole of researching. So I remember, I think I started with RuPaul's, the US version. This was probably season 12 or this was when I'm 22 right now, so this was 7 years ago, probably the episode that got out 7 years ago. So I just could see this extravagant person, and then I'm like, wait, there's more to this. Then you find out they're a man, and then you find out that they how, I think that's what mind boggled me, was how is such a confident person, such a someone who's very masculine presenting, so into feminine culture. And I was like, I'm curious. So the more I got to be curious, and another thing about being inspired as well is always having an open mind, so I started to look into it. Then I just got straight into it, I started to learn, and I started to take inspiration and living vicariously through that at 15 years old. And it was really cool. It was really, really cool. I consistently watched them. I remember days where I just used to binge watch like a whole season. I've watched RuPaul's USA. I've watched the UK version. I've watched the Canada, some of the Canada version as well. And they've got UK verse as well. So it's so many of it. And then coming to know who RuPaul actually is and his influence in kind of like the queer culture is really like profound and motivating. And I remember him doing a masterclass that I did a couple months ago, and I was just learning. I don't know, I just really connected with him. And the main thing for me was learning to obviously taking inspo, but also learning how to be confident through spaces that you feel like you can't exist, and through spaces that you feel like you're not like people don't make space for that, you know. So I think that's what I really, really connected with. And, you know, I feel like it might be a bit controversial to be speaking about being 15 years old and watching RuPaul's, because, you know, when you're young, you get easily influenced by things and your environment. But I speak a lot about it more so because it has really shaped the person that I am. When it comes to just my creativity, like I'm able to express and create a safe space for myself, that I don't have to judge things that I create, how I dress, how I walk, how I talk, and more so that leans in when I was 15 years old, and that was like a really, really tough time in my life between 15, 16, 14. I think when I moved into the country, it was obviously adjusting into a new culture, but also when I was in school, it was very difficult to fit in. And it was hard, and I couldn't find ways on how to cope, especially that, you know, everyone around me, let's say with my family, they're also adjusting to a new life, and it was hard, and through the expression of what I saw gave me the room and the space to be like, you're different and that's okay, you know. And it's something that I continue to hold, because, you know, when you're 15 and you're battling through not being able to be understood by society, or battling identity struggles, it's really profound. It's genuinely really profound. And speaking from that, just being a 15-year-old to now, I used to say, oh, like, I never knew about pageantry. Like, that was never a thing. I knew about Miss Universe and Miss World, but I never, like, you know, connected to it. But then I realized RuPaul's Drag Race is a pageant, because you end up winning a crown and a scepter. I think it's called a scepter. And I don't think I've introduced RuPaul's really well. So it's a show. I think this is probably something I wish I said earlier. It's a show where they do competitions to do with design challenges, talent, when it comes to acting and comedy, when it comes to, and many kind of other things that make you get crowned to be the next drag superstar. That's the main thing. And then you get to win like 200,000 at the end of the show, which I think is really, really cool, because that you're investing into your drag kind of like drag area and drag career. So it's a really cool show. I would suggest you watch an episode just to see what it's like. I think I was introducing it to someone that I'm dating. We were watching it together, and I just, every time I'm like, look at that, that's a gag, and they're like, damn, that's a gag, because we were watching like this girl walk into a runway, and they had like heels, and the heel was stuck on an ice, you know, them ice shoes, and they have got like a blade. So she was walking on that on the stage, and it's kind of like, wait, what? This is Denali, by the way. This is Denali I'm referring to on the last episode. So it's just a gag how you can create a whole outfit from a card, from, you know, what do you call them? Them playing cards. It's just very cool, and it kind of puts you in a space of never having to feel like something that you're doing is wrong. It's your own creativity in a different version. You know what I mean? Now, I feel like I've spoken about drag and, you know, it giving me the safe space to really, a safe space for self-expression. But I don't think I've talked about ballroom culture. And that's something I really want to speak about. Something that I got introduced to it this year. So this year I went on a solo trip in February. I think I was really struggling mentally, so I was like, the girl needs something. Okay, so I ended up going to Paris, France. And I went for a show. I went for 2 shows. So it's called the Eleganza Ball. What they do is they do categories of different. Wow, this is making me now go back into the world of Paris. Paris is Burning, the documentary series on just ballroom culture, ballroom Vogue culture, basically. But what do you call it? So I went to France. I wanted to watch two shows. So I went on a Friday. The shows were on Saturday, Sunday. I think I went Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then I came back on Monday morning. So I went to watch 2 shows. I actually went by myself. I was like, I'm not waiting for nobody. I just want to go and watch. And that was the only show that was there, I think, in February. I think the others were in different countries, which I was happy to go to different countries, but I never really knew about the UK kind of spaces. So I don't think I saw any in London or in Manchester or any. Now I know about them, but I never knew about them. So I was like, okay, if I get a flight to Paris, I will fly to Paris. Now I learned about ballroom through another show called The Legendary, and The Legendary is like series of, I think they've got like 3 seasons or 2 seasons out. So it's mostly about Vogue. So there's 5 elements of Vogue. Vogue is kind of like a dance where it was created. I don't want to give you guys the wrong history, but let me get my Google out. I'm gonna read this for you guys. So Vogue ballroom, a modern house dance that originated in the 1980s with the vibrant Harlem in New York ballroom scene of Black and Latino LGBTQ plus communities. It evolved from earlier drag balls, so it started as, the drag balls and the RuPaul's Drag Race, to becoming a highly stylized, I think, highly stylized competitive dance form inspired by poses in fashion magazines like Vogue. Houses, competitive groups that act as social and supportive networks, played a crucial role in the development of voguing. So when they talk about how houses, there's House of Balenciaga, House of Miyake Mugler, House of Gorgeous Gucci, House of Revlon. There's many different ones all around, I think, Europe and America as well. I think there's also, I don't think there's any in Africa. I don't know if there's any in Australia, but I definitely know that there's into it. So I think more going into it, just to give you guys a bit more detail. So in the mid 1800s, competitions called balls were a way of the LGBTQ plus community to express themselves and find belonging, particularly in the face of societal prejudice. This is why I'm gonna read this again, because this is the importance of why these spaces exist, and why I also champion for these spaces is because of why they were created. Again, in the mid 1800s, competitions called balls were a way for the LGBTQ plus community to express themselves and find belonging, particularly in the face of societal prejudice. These evolved from pageantry into Vogue battles, with houses competing in various categories. So around the 1980s, voguing emerged as a distinct style of dance characterized by its sharp angular movements, especially in the arms and hands, inspired by fashion models. Houses like the House of Extravaganza and the House of Ninja became prominent, developing their own unique styles and choreographies. If you look at the way the dance of voguing is, it emulates a specific category. So if you're going for like a butch queen realness kind of goes under a gay man. So it will be like what do you mean a gay man? It would be a gay... Yeah, but it'd be like very strong masculine kind of dances. And then there would be femme queen. Femme queen is very like feminine kind of features, you're showing. Then there's like face, then there's runway. I think it's just the coolest thing. Moving on, the 1990 documentary Paris is Burning brought ballroom culture and voguing to a wider audience, showcasing the vibrant community and its expressive form of dance. Madonna's hit song and video Vogue in 1990 further propelled voguing into the mainstream. I gotta watch that. I don't know about the Voguing Madonna song, but I gotta find that. Now, ballroom today. Ballroom continues to evolve with the different styles like old way, new way, Vogue femme, and remains a powerful expression of identity, creativity, and community for the LGBTQ plus community individuals worldwide. Now, I got so soaked into this because I watched the legendary, back to the show that I found it. I watched the legendary and I was so inspired. I was like, I don't know how, I don't care even if I learn. I need to go and spectate and feel the energy. So I went into Paris, and it was one of the most inspiring and the most creative, from the outfits to kind of like the dances to the outfits got me straight up, because I'm like, wow, like everyone's got a face card here, right? The fits are fitting. This is home. I genuinely felt like home when I was there, and it makes me think a little bit like maybe my past life was in maybe I was in them 1990s or 1800s in the origin for Vogue, because I'm very inspired by it. But moving forward, at being 23 years old, I want to get more into kind of like the Vogue and the ballroom culture, more so wanting to now linking back into being Miss Africa and just being part of the crown. And my goals for the next crown is I want to get more into this kind of culture, because they teach you how to surface, they teach you how to walk a runway, and I get really scared sometimes and when I have to walk, because I walk so fast that I want to vanish and run away. So I feel like it might like push me out of my comfort zone, and it's something that's already on my bucket list before I do my next biggest competition anyway, or even over time before I do like the last ever competition. So it's just really cool. As when I went to Paris, I also met Western, I think it's, so there was a MC for the legendary, was in, as in the MC was there. Most of the houses that I had watched on TV were in the building. The house of Revlon was there, because the house of Revlon is, I think, more so Paris. It's based in France, I think. So I was gagged, guys, when I saw them in person, because this is such a very fun girl moment, you know? See, I was absolutely gagged. I was too shy to take pictures with some of them. I didn't take any, but of course I remember myself. But now I'm getting a few friends who are also in like the pageant space, who understand this culture and are not, don't bring any forms of homophobia into these spaces, because these spaces were created for their own, it's not just, they're not just doing this for the show. It's more so about an expression and creativity and identity. So people that are bringing to that space have to also be able to respect that space, and because this is, for a marginalized community, and a safe space for marginalized community. So shout out to Emma. In fact, we'll be going for our first show on the 12th of July. So we're going to go to Pride, and then we're going to go to Manchester to watch a show, which I'm really excited for. And we're trying to do our outfits, as well as make sure we've got good fits to go for the show, and I'll be sharing that on Instagram, so make sure you follow me on Instagram at Deborah.1guy, and my Snapchat too, and I'll be showcasing exactly what the event will be about. Okay, now let's move to our next point. Why drag is more than a performance, it's a superpower you can live every day. Now I'm gonna insert a part here from RuPaul himself that was really significant for me in his masterclass.
When I'm in drag, it feels like the Superman to my Clark Kent. In drag, I feel omnipotent, so powerful. But the real mind blower is that years ago in therapy, my therapist said to me once, Ru, the power you have in drag is available to you out of drag. Excuse me? It had never occurred to me. It had never occurred to me that the power I feel in drag is available to me out of drag. It's a perfect example of how you can put something on to create power. But in doing so, you can train yourself to feel that power, to find it out of drag.
Now, I haven't listened to that part, but I am going to give you guys a glimpse and kind of like a screenshot of what I have in my head. So he was speaking about drag, and he was speaking to, I think, his therapist or someone, saying, you know, I do drag and I feel like, you know, I'm very performative. This is one side of things. And that person told them, you can be more than that. Drag can be your everyday. And it was like to me, it was a mind-blowing moment, because it makes you think, like, at the end of the, I think when I heard that part that day, I just thought, like, it's not just drag queens, they get to do drag. We get to decide every single day the person that we are and the person that we choose to show out to the world on that day, you know? And I found that very significant and very, like, mind-blowing, because he doesn't just get to do drag. I get to do drag too. You get to do drag too. As in, you wake up every day, you choose a specific outfit, and that outfit brings a certain personality and a certain character about you. You might want to dress more emo. More emo makes you feel more rebellious, or makes you feel more liberated or more free. You can wear something that's very sundress, that's something that's very flowy, very light feminine. And drag is an everyday thing. It made me realize that drag is an everyday thing. So it's really, really like an everyday self-expression kind of thing. And if you're able to take every single day, this is something that I also took over from that, is that taking every single day as a moment for you to express yourself is very, very profound, and makes you live every single day intentionally. And yeah, it's just very intentional. It's very intentional, and you are at your best, and you wake up and get to be your highest self and the best version of yourself, you know. So it's a really cool concept, and I hope you take that from what I've seen, because me and drag and Vogue, we're going to be till I'm 50. I will be going to shows till I'm 50. Now, I want to close by the last point, which is how embracing this has taught me confidence beyond the pageantry stage. Because now, when I'll flash you back into a moment where we were doing our rehearsals for Miss Africa Great Britain, and our pageant coach said, I want you to create a character in your head. I want you to have a name for that character, that every time you walk in stage, you are that person. And I have no clue what I gave my name, but usually my alter ego is Tia Deborah. So when I'm on stage, I am this confident, creative, elevated version of myself. So that has the experiences that I've seen in drag, because drag it kind of like shows you a great representation of a character, right? You are this character, you're going to express yourself as Cher, be Cher, and speak like Cher, you know. So it teaches you, I had already experienced in my subconscious of what it looks like to play a character, and also kind of put that confidence that you have on stage, because I've seen how drag queens walk a runway. So I had already had in mind what I wanted to do, and probably sometimes stealing styles, as well as stealing and being inspired by some of the outfits that they wear, and that's something that I want to continue to do in pageantry. This is Pageantry Redefined. I want to bring that elevated version of the creative part of me and being a queen, and kind of like putting them together, even with the mistakes that I learned through the process. Let's say, for example, if I'm going to wear a certain outfit, I want to make sure it's the most elevated and creative outfit that I have, and that I can create, you know what I mean? So it's very, very, very cool that I got this experience, and I learned this for 7 years, and I now get to showcase on stage. And I think that's also a big contributor of me winning the crown, that in the first year, was that I had already known about these things. And as I continue to get to my next stage and my next crown, right, it's more so about me elevating and putting myself more into these spaces and becoming more uncomfortable to be that version of me, and being that version of myself that is the best, the most creative, the most raw. Someone that really inspires me is Doechii. Doechii's creativity is, you look at it with a side eye and with your head tilted, and I love that because I like creativity that's out of the box, like you thought out of this is box that society puts you on, So I'm really, really privileged to know about these spaces and have this space and the access and the resources to be in them. And I hope that I continue to not just learn but also highlight these spaces and let the world know that these spaces exist, and also to continue to support them, continue to support people who are in drag, support people who are in Vogue. I mean, I sometimes always go for like local drag and just go and support and cheer people on. So it's a space that has really, really elevated me, and I will continue. This is a promise to younger queer Deborah, is to let her know that she will continue to champion through every single kind of part that people don't want to shine, and they don't want that part to be known, as much as it's also highlighting things that, yes, you're African, but not hiding other parts of yourself. I believe that I should have the space to, we're in the Western world now, and it's important for, giving spaces to these kind of things, even though that they other people's perception now, this is a sin. Other people's perception is this shouldn't exist, this is illegal. This is someone's self-expression, and for me that's a big part of my foundation, and it's something that I will continue to champion for. I will not advocate for it and say you have to do it. That's a disclaimer that I give. I don't advocate for it, and I say you should definitely do this. This is everyone's personal choice, depending on what environment that they come from and whatever environment that they bring up from. My main message is to continue to champion and continue to support and continue to elevate these people instead of bringing them down, because I believe love is the highest and the best form. It's one of those things you can give that is valueless and doesn't cost you anything. Kindness doesn't cost you anything either. So yes, I think that's it for me today. Confidence isn't something you're just born with, it's something you build, one fierce step at a time. Keep owning your space, queen. Catch you on the next Pageantry Redefined episode. Bye.